Lake level is just about normal power pool, or what they call winter power pool. It's right at 9:15. Before I get into the fishing report, I've got a new boat ordered. Should have it in a couple weeks. So if anybody out there is interested in buying a boat, I've got my Z21 for sale. It's got top of the line garments. I've got two up front, one on the console, live scope. The boat's been wrapped since I had it. It does not have a scratch on it. None of the seats. I mean, everything's in excellent shape. So if anybody's looking for a really good deal on a 2018 Z21, the boat's loaded. It's got about everything on it that you can get, and it's under warranty till September of 2022. So just contact me by, Facebook, or give me a call, and we'll talk about it. But, water temperature is still pretty warm. It looks like tonight it's going to get cold, and then it looks like the next 10 days, it's going to be 60s, low 70s, and down into some 45, 50. So we're finally going to get into some fall weather. But that water temperature is still hanging around 79, 80 degrees. And, been catching fish, having to work at it. But one of the most productive ways I've had that's been more consistent has been more of a shallow bite. It's been working a little bit better for me. And it's kind of working all over the lake, not just up in the river arms, the main lake, or the mid-lake area, and even down by the dam. The water's still got pretty good stain to it. It's almost every bit as good as what's up in the river arms. Matter of fact, when I was up in the river arms last week, way up had kind of a funky brown color, almost like a turnover color, but the water's way too warm for, the lake to be trying to turn over. But the further upriver I got, the more kind of a dark brown the water looked. Seemed like the mid-river and the mid-lake has got a nice green tint to it. But anyways, my most consistent bite has been small spinner baits. I'm throwing a 3/8 or half ounce, but seem like small blades, similar to like a War Eagle, Screaming Eagle. A lot of shad-colored skirts seem to be working real good for me. Sometimes I'm putting a little swim bait on there for a trailer. A lot of square bills. Whopper ploppers working some. What little bit it's working for me, it seems to be the little one, the 90, in either a bone or a black color. One of the most consistent bites has been a 1.5 or a 2.5. And, it doesn't even have to be a striking brand. It just seems like baits this size that run about this depth. When I get back in, below 4 or 5 feet, it seems like the 1.5 works a little bit better because I'm not dredging up as much stuff on the bottom as I am with the 2.5. But amazingly, the 1.5 runs just about as deep as the 2.5. The 2.5 is just a little bit bigger profile bait. But, I've been working these really fast in the backs of the pockets, and we're kind of mixing it up with a topwater, spinnerbait, and a crankbait. And as far as the topwater, I said a whopper plopper wasn't working all that well. What I'm finding is working better is a walking bait, like a Sexy Dog or a Spook Junior, or even a Pawpaw, Yellow Magic. But a bait that's not moving, real fast on top, something that's just walking side to side or popping. And, I can't really tell you there's any specific type of rock. I'm just covering a lot of different banks. But a lot of the key for me has been, halfway back in the creeks to the backs. I seem to be doing a little bit better, a little bit more consistent. Any type of wood that you see, whether it's a lay down, isolated brush, anything sticking up out of the water in the backs or in the sides of them creeks has been a really good target. It's been holding some fish. And the jig bite out there deeper has been picking up. And it seems to be the fish are more on gravel. There's still a drop shot bite, and it will be all year, all winter long. But to me, it's still not real good. I've got to cover a lot of water to get them drop shot fish to bite. But I've been throwing a 3/4 ounce, 5-fish lures, ultimate cover jig, or, football jig will work, or a wobble head, some type of bait like that. It's got a pretty heavy head where you can fish you down about 25, 30 feet. This one's an Okeechobee Craw with a baby rage craw on it. Chomper's twin tail will work as a trailer. Zoom speed craws always work good. And you know, several different colors are working. Another color that's working real good, it's one we call a brown trout. But a lot of the greens and browns are real hard to beat right now. Another one is a magic craw. It's got a few strands of blue, almost looks like a little bluegill. And there's still quite a few of them bluegill up on the bank that normally are what them largemouth are feeding on. And a lot of the fish I'm catching up there shallow, especially mid-lake and down lake by the dam. It's amazing how many smallmouth are up there really shallow. Just, you know, been more smallmouth up shallow than I have found, you know, largemouth or Kentuckies or the spotted bass. But a lot of them jig fish, you can almost see them on your electronics. The one good thing about Table Rock is you can go over your fish. If you see them on your electronics and, you know, 25, 30 feet, and if you got the boat moving real slow and you're dragging the bait behind the boat, you can almost, especially if you see the fish moving up and down, you can almost count on it about 3 or 4 minutes. By the time your bait gets to where you're just seeing those fish, you're normally going to get a bite. And a lot of times what I'll do when I'm out there dragging that football jig, I'll have a drop shot rig just kind of hanging over the boat ready. If I come over a little pod of fish or a little group of them where I think there's, you know, 3, 4, 5 fish, I'll hold the boat dead still, drop the drop shot down. But if not, you know, a lot of times what works good, I'll set the boat in about 30 foot and make a cast towards the bank or towards the point that I'm fishing, and just kind of let the bait drag where it's bouncing off bottom till it gets directly behind the boat. Then I'll take and make another cast. And I think what that's accomplishing depends on how steep the bank is, but if I'm setting in 30 foot, I might be casting in the 20. So I feel like that's covering that 20 to 30 foot range where I can cover a little bit more water with that jig. And then a lot of times if you find they're in a certain depth, like I said, that 25 or 30, just keep the boat in that depth, throw right behind the boat, just you know, real steady, slow drag. It's hard to beat that technique this time of year. I mean, a lot of times we call it strolling. It's pretty close to almost trolling your bait, but we call it the Table Rock stroll. But a lot of times, you know, that's what it takes, just dragging that bait real slow. So I'm hoping with the weather cooling down this next week, it's going to get things a little bit more active, get the topwater fish going a little bit better, and get more fish back into the creeks. And you'll see in a lot of the creeks, if you go back in there throwing a crankbait, there's a ton of bait in some of them. Not all the creeks have them, but a lot of them do. So the food is already there. We just need a few more fish to move back in there, you know, kind of a fall pattern and fish starting to feed up. So until next week, good luck, good fishing.